How you doing there, folks? Baters here with another Top 10. Today we're going to look at the top 10 most insane villains across all the Fallout games. We've got nut jobs, nutballs, nutty butts, and butts with balls. Needless to say, we got some crazy motherfuckers here. Now go ahead and tickle your butthole with a giant bird feather, and let's get to average baiting, baby! At number 10, we've got Mister Burke. Now you meet this nefarious character in Moriarty's Saloon in Fallout 3. Now I know what a lot of you guys are probably thinking. You're thinking this guy looks like a finicky little fuckboy who wouldn't hurt a fly, right? Wrong! Burke wouldn't just hurt a fly, no. He would strangle that fly to death in a room filled with photos of Jeff Goldblum, so that the fly would die knowing even Jeff Goldblum couldn't save him. Now how fucked up is that? Mr. Burke will offer you 500 caps to rig the bomb in the center of Megaton to explode, killing all of the residents. He is also the right-hand man of hoteler Alistair Tenpenny. Now you may be thinking, why would Burke be on this list and not Tenpenny, right? Tenpenny is the guy in charge, so clearly he is more insane. But no, actually, he isn't. Tenpenny was an old elitist fucker who didn't want Megaton skanking up his sunsets, which for sure is pretty evil. And he was willing to hire you to blow up Megaton to class up his balcony view a bit. So yeah, I grant you, Tenpenny likely isn't volunteering to be a mall Santa anywhere, okay? But he's an elitist, not a murderer. However, the biggest difference between Tenpenny and Burke is that Tenpenny wants all the residents of Megaton to be evacuated before you blow up the bomb. Whereas Burke, that sick fuck, wants you to blow it up with all the people still inside. Honestly, what really makes Mr. Burke so ominous in Fallout 3 is the fact that when you first meet him, you think he's actually just following orders. Like he's following Alistair Tenpenny's orders, and that's why he's so fucked up. Then later you realize he actually has more depraved ambitions than even Alistair Tenpenny himself, and that he may just be helping Tenpenny because that puts him in a position to hurt the most people. Needless to say, Mr. Burke wasn't held enough as a baby, I think. Chances are his mother probably dropped him right on his fucking brain, so that all his fetishes got squished together with all his violent tendencies, and now he can't even say the word bomb without leaking pre-cum into his tidy whities. However, that is just my theory. He is intelligent, a skilled gunman, very good at stealth, intimidation, and he's wealthy. So automatically, he just thinks he's better than most people. His only real goal in Fallout 3 is to hurt and kill as many people as possible, and he'll kill anyone who tries to stop him or slow him down. I rate this character one lady who thought it would be fun to French kiss a whale.
Mistakes were made! Mistakes were definitely made!
At number 9, we've got Pickman. Pickman is sort of a vigilante lunatic in Fallout 4. Although he's not specifically a villain, he definitely gets an A for crazy. Now, he's incredibly capable in the sense that he survives countless encounters with raiders all by himself. I mean, Pickman is the type of crazy that appears normal on the outside until one day you see him dry humping a severed head in a bouncy castle somewhere. Hey, Pickman, what you got there? Oh, good God! Alright, super. I'll just leave you to it then, man. Now, what makes him insane in Fallout 4 is he doesn't just kill the raiders, no. He butchers them and takes home some souvenirs to remember them by. And I'm not talking about overpriced snow globes that break if you get a little too excited. No, I'm talking eyes, ears, and ball bags. You know, real psycho shit. Pickman is a man with a strong dislike for raiders, killing any raiders that wander into his home. While generally presenting himself as calm, cool, collected, and polite, he's actually extremely disturbed, just casually mentioning his hobby of collecting raiders' heads. Now, the sole survivor first meets Pickman deep within the tunnels of Pickman's gallery while he is being attacked by Slab, a raider who wants to take revenge on Pickman for killing his men. Now, if the sole survivor kills Slab and the two raiders on either side of Pickman and then speaks to him after, they are rewarded with Pickman's key, which opens the safe on the ground floor of the gallery, which contains Pickman's blade and Pickman's thank you note, which just reads, "Thanks, killer." Most times I get notes from serial killers, I'm like, oh God, no, fuck, no, oh shit! But this one's kinda nice, to be honest. It's also possible to find Pickman's calling card on random encountered bodies placed throughout the Commonwealth. The note simply reads, "Pickman was here, find me if you dare," with a large blood heart. basically antagonizing more raiders to come find him so he can kill them too. Now, I used to leave notes all over the Commonwealth as well to warn my enemies, but my notes just said, "Curiosity killed the cat," and it was written in blood, and it had a picture of my dick glued to the back of it. I'm pretty sure they got the message. Oh yeah. Yeah, they got the message, alright. I rate this character one dog that sits in a chair like a freak.
This is my safe position.
At number 8, we've got legate Lanius. Now, Lanius is Latin for butcher, which I think is pretty suiting. Legate Lanius is the military leader of Caesar's Legion and the final boss of the main story of Fallout New Vegas in 3 out of 4 endings. He resides at Legate's camp, located just beyond Hoover Dam, where the final battle takes place, and he cannot be reached until the end of the game. Lanius is the Legion's most savage and bloodthirsty warrior of all, and even Caesar himself says he's only in it for the killing, which is definitely on the list of the most fucked up things to say during a job interview, right? So Kyle, why do you want to work here?
Honestly, I'm just in it for the killing.
Okay, pump the brakes there, psycho. We try not to kill anyone here at Target, okay? Now, if Caesar dies, Lanius becomes the new Caesar, and the Legion becomes far more brutal under his leadership. Like, for instance, they'll just start spanking random people on the bare ass for no reason and picking up wounded animals right by the nipples. Because they simply just don't give a poop emoji, you know? Now, if the courier decides to side with the Legion, Legate Lanius will be the one who gives the player the order to attack Hoover Dam, and also the one who congratulates the player after the Legion has won the battle. Now, Lanius is by far the Legion's most physically powerful member, being a massively tall and muscular man sporting an intimidating golden suit of armor with a mask in the image of the Roman god of war Mars, and wielding an enormous sword known as the Blade of the East. He's also known to have a bit of a temper, and anyone who crosses him might just get thrown off a fucking roof. No. Now, he is an outright boss character with more HP than any other character in the game, and several unique NPC perks that give him special abilities. Now, the reason why Lanius made this list was because Lanius was once a member of a tribe hostile to Caesar's Legion, the Hydebarks, and Lanius was the bloodthirsty champion of that tribe, sometimes ambushing entire groups of legionnaires by himself. When Caesar's Legion finally tracked down the Hydebarks, they knew that they wouldn't be able to win against Caesar, so they chose to surrender, which was a big fucking mistake, because this act drove Lanius into a bloodthirsty frenzy, killing the chieftain and 15 others of his own tribe single-handedly before he was knocked unconscious. When Lanius woke up, most of his face was torn the fuck off, and Caesar was standing beside him. He offered Lanius a place in the Legion and a mask forged in the image of the Greek god Mars, especially for him. Now, Lanius accepted Caesar's proposal, but in return he wanted permission to kill the survivors of his old tribe. However, Caesar demanded that he only kill the adult members. Yeah, he would have killed everyone. Man, woman, child, hamsters, who cares? He'd kill them all. Since that time, Lanius has led Caesar's Legion to victory over 19 tribes and led the conquest of Colorado. I rate this character one monkey who's super hungover from a night out with the boys.
I'm never gonna drink again. Feels like a hooker just took a shit on my brain.
At number 7, we've got Clandon. Now, who is this ball hugger, right? I mean, he just looks like a nice boy who would bake cookies for the slow kids in the neighborhood, right? Nope, wrong on so many levels. He's actually a mercenary, a bomb maker, and a snuff pornographer. Yeah, he was contracted by the Omertas for their plan to take over the New Vegas Strip. Now, not so much is known about Clandon's history. However, on the surface, he appears to be a peaceful and relatively normal person, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Further investigation reveals a much more sinister, depraved individual. I mean, his kitchen looks like Johnny Depp's bed in A Nightmare on Elm Street, and he tortures and kills prostitutes for fun. And I bet you anything he didn't shed one single tear when Mufasa died in The Lion King, that heartless son of a bitch. Now, he is able to build a variety of explosive and chemical weapons, even boasting that he could create a nuclear bomb if he really wanted to. So he was hired by the Omertas for their work with Caesar's Legion to build a device to poison the residents of the Strip with chlorine gas. In return, the Omertas would simply turn a blind eye to his violent and sadistic activities in their casino. Now, Clandon enjoys killing. It's like a day out at Magic Mountain for this sick fuck. He could do it all the time. Now, if killing was an amusement park, this twisted fuckface would have a platinum bracelet just so he could go on all the rides and wouldn't have to wait in line. I rate this character one dog that is terrified of rope. I had a dream it would end like this. At number 6, we've got Frank Horrigan. Now, Horrigan is the Enclave's finest instrument of warfare. He's the final boss and main antagonist of Fallout 2. He's lean, he's mean, and he'll fucking uppercut you right in the asshole until you die. He's described as a kind of ultra super mutant in power armor, having been witnessed laughing off plasma rifle fire and ripping death claws and armored humans in half with his bare hands. He is by far one of the deadliest entities to have walked the wasteland. He also has 260 followers on Instagram, so he's kind of a big deal. He mostly posts Lululemon butt shots, and boy are they weird. Now, originally, he was a Secret Service agent for the Enclave president, Dick Richardson, aka Big Floppy Richard. Horrigan was sent out with several other teams to search for slaves for use in excavating the remains of the Mariposa military base. In September of 2236, scientists unearthed the FEV, and mutations began to occur amongst those who came in contact with it, including Horrigan, who just loves to handle strange substances but refuses to wear gloves. Eventually, this would turn him into a super mutant, and the Enclave created a modified version of power armor specifically to encapsulate Horrigan's girthy body. The suit basically became a part of him. He could literally not be separated from his suit even if you promised to give him a Butterfingers, as it would continually pump him full of drugs that kept him alive. However, he would still beat your ass and take that goddamn Butterfingers, so don't just go waving that shit around. Sometimes he was referred to as a walking nuke or, oh my god, what the fuck is that thing? Furthermore, he had a plethora of psychological problems even before he became a mutant. And because of his psychological issues and his bad temper, I bet you anything, he'd make a terrible parent.
Hey there, little Sarah, you like your new tricycle? Come on, play with your new tricycle, Sarah. Come on, play with it. Play with your fucking tricycle.
Standing more than 12 feet tall, Horrigan is significantly taller and bulkier than a standard super mutant. Although of generally low intelligence, Horrigan noticeably lacks the simple-minded moronic mental deficiencies that commonly plague other super mutants. He can speak in complete sentences and seems to be fully aware of what he's doing when he's ripping motherfuckers in half. Basically, he's an ultra-violent thug and psychopathic killer engineered by the Enclave as a perfect weapon of war. I rate this character one squirrel who's terrible at hide and seek. Phil, I can see you, man.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. You're standing on that piece of wood.
Nope, wrong. Totally wrong.
At number 5, we've got Mortimer. Now, Mortimer is a cannibalistic, high-ranking member of the White Glove Society and a snazzy fucking dresser. He works as a front desk manager and is Marjorie's assistant and right-hand man at the Ultralux Casino in 2281. Unlike the other reformed members of the group, he considers the present direction of the White Glove Society as misled. He views the society as an elitist institution, which, by denying themselves access to such exotic meat, has taken away from the only reason for the group to exist. Basically, he's saying if we can't eat humans, then what's the fucking point, Marjorie? Okay? Human eating is kind of her gimmick. Okay? Without it, we're just a bunch of weirdos who dress up and meet once a week. Now, he does not openly share his cannibalistic views, okay? And it is only by exposing him during a speech at a special dinner hosted for the members of the society that he reveals his true nature. Basically, this sick fucker wants to eat poor old Ted Gunderson with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. And Ted Gunderson, wouldn't you know it, he doesn't want to be eaten, because that would fucking suck. Now, Mortimer is truly one of the most insane characters because even despite living a more luxurious lifestyle than 99% of the people post-war, he still isn't happy unless he's kidnapping and killing innocent people so he can eat them with his friends and feel superior to them by doing so. I rate this character playground equipment designed to capture stupid adults. You are one big 6-year-old, I'll tell you what. What do you mean you're 47 years old? At number 4, we've got Dr. Braun. Now, Dr. Braun was the overseer of Vault 112, and he's what some doctors might call one twisted fuck. Now, Braun was locked in a Vault-Tec prototype simulation, appearing as a psychotic little girl named Betty. By his own choice, I might add. So right there, That's already raising some red flags about this crusty old lunatic. Other than having a predilection to dressing up like prepubescent girls, what makes this guy a true psychopath, you may be asking yourself, giving your brain a curious little tickle. Well, he created a simulation in Vault 112 called Tranquility Lane, and in that simulation, this twisted fucker does all sorts of nefarious shit to fuck with the inhabitants of Vault 112. Now you might be thinking, he's only torturing the inhabitants because that's a job Vault Tech paid him for, right? But guess what? It fucking wasn't. One might even be able to speculate that the only reason he tortures the inhabitants is because it actually makes his nipples fully erect like tiny little horny spaceships. Now, Vault 112 was one of the last vaults to be constructed. The construction started in November 2068 and finished in June 2074. It was designed to accommodate only 85 occupants, who would be suspended in a virtual reality world for the indefinite duration of the vault's experiment. The simulator, aka the Puppet Master, was none other than Dr. Braun. Now, Braun was the inventor of the Garden of Eden creation kit, and it initially contained several simulated utopias. The system should have permitted a select few to live a perfect life virtually, if not practically forever. However, Harry Balls Braun over there said fuck that and just did his own thing. What Vault 112's occupants didn't know was that once they entered the virtual reality pods, Braun would exercise complete control over the simulation, turning himself into a sort of virtual god. They became his little playthings, completely at his mercy. Now, once Braun got bored of forcing them to do remedial and disturbing shit, like, I don't know, playing ping pong in short shorts that don't fully conceal your ball bag, he went ahead and decided to step up his nutcase status by a whole 10 levels, and virtually started killing each and every one of them. When he finished killing the Vault's population, he would just wipe their memory and then resurrect them within the next simulation and proceed to murder them yet again. Needless to say, Tranquility Lane was a fucking nightmare, and Braun was a bit of a dick. Imagine waking up in a quaint little cul-de-sac all discombobulated, only to have the pint-sized slasher popping out of shrubs and stabbing people right in their fucking faces. Sounds like a real treat, right? Wrong, it doesn't sound like a treat at all. It in no way sounds like a treat. In no way. Now, Braun went through several simulations prior to initiating Tranquility Lane. The simulation reminded him of his hometown, but was distinctly American. Braun's subjects were naturally at home and felt safe in this environment, which made it more satisfying for him when he would terrorize them. Now, by the time the Lone Wanderer came upon Vault 112, the simulation had been going on for at least several decades, giving Braun the award for most twisted old virtual fucker on the planet. Congrats. I rate this character one guy who likes to ride his human to work. Mush, my human! Take me to work, human! Go, mush! Don't make me spank your ass again! At number 3, we've got Kellogg. Now, Conrad Kellogg, aka Kellogg's Rice Krispies, is one of the primary antagonists in Fallout 4. He is an Institute asset in the Commonwealth, in which he's involved in all kinds of nefarious shit. He's a real scoundrel, this Kellogg, alright? He even shoots the main character's spouse in the face at the beginning of the game, just to prove he gives zero fucks. Kellogg was born in the New California Republic in 2179, 108 years before the events of Fallout 4. Yep, that's right, he's old as tits. Now, he was born to an abusive father and a loving but weak-willed mother. You know, she was weak-willed. You know, the type of person that can't fart without shitting a little by accident. One day, when he was like 9, his mother handed him a gun, stating he was the man of the family now, and that he needed to protect them. And I must have missed that page in Parenting 101 where they said, it's a good idea to give a 9-year-old a big fucking gun. Needless to say, when he grew up, he became a mercenary. He then moved to San Francisco, got married to a woman named Sarah, and had a daughter named Mary. However, his family later got killed by enemies that he had made while working as a mercenary. Now, eventually he headed east and was called to the Institute. They wanted him to stop intruding on their work, and he wanted to get paid to stop intruding on their work. To which they replied by trying to have him killed, but Kellogg don't play that shit. So he beat their asses. And once the Institute failed at killing him, they said, what the hell, you want a job? Now, working for the Institute, he was eventually ordered to retrieve Sean from Vault 111 with a group of scientists. Things got a little rambunctious when Sean's mother said, don't take my baby, to which Kellogg shot her in the fucking face. As you do when you're kidnapping babies. Mom gets out of line, then you shoot her in the face. Simple math, really. In summary, Kellogg is a morally ambiguous enhanced human who will kill or do anything to make money. He's a skilled gunman who rarely fucks around, especially when it comes to shooting discombobulated women coming out of cryostasis. I rate this character 2 ducks getting robbed by a lovable kitten.
I won't tell you again. Hand over the goods, or Daffy here's gonna get a fucking haircut.
At number 2, we've got Father Elijah. A scribe of the Brotherhood of Steel, Elijah defied convention and rose to the rank of Elder, an honor usually reserved exclusively for paladins. But Elijah knew how to grease the wheels, so to speak, or at least whose balls to suck on. Apparently an exception was granted just for him on the grounds that he was a genius who could figure out the workings of any device just by looking at it. Yep, just like I thought here, fellas. We got ourselves an old-fashioned toaster. People used to use things like this to toast on things. Excuse me, Father, could you elaborate? Shut the fuck up, Billy! That's all you get! Toast on things, that's what it was used for. Toasting on things. Basically, he was smart as tits, so the Brotherhood just gave him whatever he wanted or needed. Now, Elijah eventually revealed himself as a brutally pragmatic and altogether unpleasant leader. He was also a pathological control freak, and when he had sex, he would dress up like a Tyrannosaurus and have someone fart in his mouth. He was a really weird guy. Okay, I made that last part up. But in all fairness, he easily could have been that kind of weirdo. He often viewed people not as people, but as tools or equipment he could use to get a task done. This dehumanization makes him remarkably unempathetic and sadistic in terms of his goals. Eventually, Elijah stumbled across the Big Empty in his travels, where he found an incredible amount of rare pre-war technology that made him nut twice as soon as he saw it. He was captured momentarily by the think tank, but escaped in seconds. Later, he ran into a courier named Ulysses, who told him of the legend of Sierra Madre and convinced him to go check it out. Upon reaching the Sierra Madre, he found everything he could have hoped for and more. The cloud had somehow preserved the pristine nature of the casino and prevented it from decaying in all the centuries of disuse, in addition to serving as a deadly deterrent to potential intruders. He marveled at the casino's automated security systems and the invulnerable holograms perfected versions of the technology he had found at the Big Empty. He later used explosive collars to coerce captives into trapping other fortune seekers lured by the Sierra Madre's signal, forming a chain that eventually grew into teams conscripted to do Elijah's bidding or die. Choices, right? Basically, he's an old man who kidnapped and murdered countless people in pursuit of technology that he would have used to commit genocide on the entire West Coast. So he's pretty far from perfect. I rate this character one guy who just stubbed his toe really fucking hard. Fuck! Why does this table even exist? Why are you there? And at number 1, we have the Master. Now, the Master is the main antagonist and final boss in Fallout 1. And boy oh boy is he one ugly fucking dude. He looks like a human-colored booger that grew arms. He is a disgusting mass of mutated flesh infused with the computer system of the underground vault in which he resides. The Master is the leader of an army of super mutants and wants to replace the few remaining pure humans that haven't suffered mutation with his new race of mutants, believing that unlike humans, they will never fight amongst each other. A notable feature of the Master is that his voice is pieced together from different voices of people that he's absorbed throughout the years. Yep, not only is this blob uglier than a bruised ballsack, but if you get too close, he'll pull you into his disgustingness and absorb you like a really fucked up man-eating sponge. Now, the Master used to be Richard Gray, a doctor who was banished from Vault City in 2092. A city built by people who got out of Vault 8 using the Garden of Eden creation kit because he was accused of murder, though it was never proven in a court of law. I still think that he did it though, because let's face it, poor old Billy didn't beat himself to death with a hammer, did he? He also had a friend Harold who came with him when he was banished. After some trouble with mutants, Richard and Harold decided to find the origin of those mutants and went to the Mariposa military base where they killed most of the mutants until they found vats of forced evolutionary virus, or FEV. Harold barely escaped, but Gray was plunged into a vat of FEV by a robotic arm. You do gotta be careful around those robotic arms, because they will sneak right up on you and they'll push you dick first into a vat of chemicals. Floating in the vats for almost a month, the FEV virus transformed Gray into a lady killer. Just kidding! It basically turned him into a freak of nature. A blob-like being that would eventually become known as the Master, and would have a really hard time meeting someone on Tinder. Wow, Richard, you sound like a really nice guy. I can't wait to see what you look like. Holy motherfucker! What the hell is that thing? Over time, he expanded by absorbing creatures and people that went to the base, and those who were consumed became part of his personality. He also began to capture humans to experiment with the FEV. As the Master grew stronger, he began to make plans to unify the wasteland using the FEV virus to create the perfect race. On January of 2103, the Master perfected his method of infecting and dipping humans and began creating super mutants, which would follow him and obey his orders. Unfortunately for him, as he began to dip others into the vats, he found that the resulting creatures were not like himself. Most often, they mutated into brutish soldiers, losing much of their brain function. It was because apparently only those with a low radiation count would not suffer this fate. Long story short, he's a sick, twisted blob of ugly that likes dipping people in vats of mutating goo, and thanks to the Vault Dweller from Vault 13, his messy little experiment was eventually put to an end. I rate this character one kid who hates water safety. Safety first, my ass! Get this mess off of me! I want to fucking swim like a rock. I don't want to be buoyant. Thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to bitch slap that subscribe button like it's 3 weeks behind on your rent. Bitch! Where's the money, bitch? Where's the money? Where is it? Also, go ahead and hit that bell icon too, because apparently YouTube thought there should be extra steps. Why not, right?
I'd like to subscribe, but first I have to click this and do this. Oh, it needs an email. All right, and this. Okay, fuck. Just tell me when he's uploading. Fuck!
Once you do all that, if you're lucky, at the stroke of midnight, a tiny little Averagebaters fairy might come and tickle your butthole. Also, if you want to see another top 10 similar to this one, then go ahead and click that sexy little icon at the bottom left of the screen. And I hope to see you all again next time for another top 10.